I start snoring at any time, just throw something.
You're in arm's reach.
Here we go. And good Wednesday hump day, halfway through the work week morning, 4 minutes past 10 o'clock. We're already up to 81 degrees at the KRIM studios on West Frontier in Payson. This morning on KRIM's Community Spotlight, talking about a great fundraiser coming up for the RVN3 group. And now, first of all, just to establish a little bit about what this is all about, we want to talk to begin with Dickie Nielsen, who, along with family and friends, founded RVN3. And Dickie, give us just the Reader's Digest condensed version of what RVN3 is and how this all got started.
RVN3 stands for Richard Vernon Nielsen III. That is our son. He passed away, we're looking at 4 years ago. And we started this foundation in his name to help kids get involved with sports that aren't able to provide money, to help them with, we use sports to promote education. So to play sports, you have to maintain a certain grade average, so it keeps them involved, and we believe that kids involved with sports will stay out of trouble somewhat, maybe, we're hoping.
Hopefully, with any luck, yeah.
Right.
Well, this, and what a wonderful thing. Now, you've been at this for, you've been at this for a few years now.
This will be 3 years.
3 years.
Yes, sir.
And I know I golfed in your golf tournament here a while back, and man, it just seems like everybody and their brother showed up. It was a great fundraiser.
The town of Payson's awesome, and it's a big family, and this allows everybody to get together and fundraise for a great cause, for sure.
And obviously, you get a lot of support from a lot of different people. And we're going to talk this morning a little bit about something special coming up at Sawmill Theater. And while it probably won't be a big surprise that Sawmill Theater also supports RVN3 with this upcoming event this Saturday, but there's other folks involved too. And like the folks over at Copper State Credit Union with us in the studio, we have Elizabeth Craigbaum and also Travis Rosario. And thanks to both of you for coming down and being with us today. How did you all get involved in this?
We knew Dickie from one of our past lives when we worked at a previous financial institution. And so when we had the opportunity, Copper State wanted to really give back to the community. And they approached us and said, what can we do for the Payson community? What's a good foundation that we could help support?
Right.
And immediately our minds jumped to RVN3. They're an incredible foundation and a great foundation to support.
Gotta love it. Now, this particular, the next event, and it's just one of a number of things that RVN3 does throughout the year to raise money for this very worthwhile cause. But the next one is coming up this Saturday morning at 10 o'clock at the Sawmill Theaters. And now, Travis, I understand they're going to be showing the latest Space Jam movie.
Yep.
This is the one, not the original one with Michael Jordan.
Not the good one.
Which was like how many? It was like 1,000 years ago. Now they got a new one that has the politically charged basketball player in it. But at any rate, I jest. But this is actually a pretty big movie. I mean, they spent some big bucks on this. A lot of great combination of live action and animation together and everything. But people that want to see this this Saturday, it's going to be the time to do it, right?
Yep.
And now they get in for how much?
$5 will get you admission, a small popcorn, and a small drink.
Wow. And now I understand that all the money raised this Saturday goes directly to RVN3.
That is correct.
Outstanding. And Dickie, as far as RVN3 goes, I mean, generally speaking, how many dollars last year did you all spend towards helping the local youth here, like you're talking about?
Last year we put about 20,000 into the youth, and then and that don't include a bunch of groups got together, MHS and MSA,
right?
And we got wrestling mats for the wrestling team, and then we just got done also with Keith Family Flooring and a bunch of foundations here in town, MHA and MSA, and a bunch of people. We raised $20,000 and redid the old gym floor also here in the last year.
Wow, I mean, that's at 20 grand, that's some serious bucks.
Right. And so you're looking at that between the golf tournament and that, raising that fund for the basketball floor in a month there, this town, we raised $40,000.
Wow.
So, and sports fees for the kids is right about 100, 150 for the middle school, and it's right around 200 for the high schools.
Right.
So and that don't even count equipment, practice gear, anything for these kids.
Yeah, if I want to play football, not only do I have to pay the fee to be on the team, but I got to come up with all this other equipment and everything too.
Exactly. And we try to help with that also.
Of course, if I show up looking for football equipment, someone needs to, I don't know, maybe send me to an institution or something, but that's a whole other issue. Now, the quick question that I had for you, first of all, your son Bubba, was he involved in local sports at the schools here?
Yes, he was real dedicated. He's one that did not let a lot of things get in his way because he didn't want to miss out on any sports. So he was a great scholar, but he would keep his grades up for darn sure, and he didn't get caught out goofing off much.
Right.
As far as drugs or alcohol or any of these things that's easy for these kids to get involved with.
Sure, increasingly.
Because he did not want to take the chance of taking his sports away. And a lot of these kids are that way. They know if they get messed up that they're going to, all the practice, all the work they put in, they ain't going to be able to play football, basketball, soccer that year.
And some of these kids, their sports careers in high school can really carry them on into college, where without that, they might not even have that opportunity.
Exactly. But you look at, a lot don't go play in college, but the competitive edge they get in any work area, office, bank, there's competitiveness.
Sure.
You want to be the best one there. You learn to work with people, you learn to have coaches, bosses. Sports bring a lot of things to a person that you can carry all through life, for sure.
That's the same here at the radio station. I just happen to have the biggest mouth here, so it works out great.
Right. Well, Chris competes hard.
Well, he tries, yeah.
We heard Chris's singing skills.
Oh yeah, just before we went on the air here, yeah. It was, but the neat thing is it was absolutely no crystal shattered during the whole experience, so it was a good thing. But all kidding aside, Dickie, you bring up a great point though, as far as by supporting kids with aspirations or interests in sports. You not only open the door for them to get involved, but it also causes them to want to maybe sidestep a lot of these other influences that could distract them, from what they really should be working on. And so, I mean, what a great cause RBN3 is, and also what a great legacy that your son leaves, through all of you to the rest of the youth here in Rim Country. That's a beautiful thing.
It was a lot of prayers went into it, and
I can't even imagine.
and the floor coming together and seeing his name on that floor really impacted us as a family to see, well, this is happening. Things are doing well. We haven't had to turn down one sports fee yet.
Wow.
Not one. Anyone who's asked, we've been able to pay them fees.
That's beautiful.
Yes.
That's outstanding. And it's probably also one of the reasons that Copper State Credit Union decided this was a good thing to get involved in. And it's kind of neat to be working for a company that wants to be this involved. And Elizabeth, is that kind of the mode of operation at Canyon State?
Yeah. So with Copper State, we are
Copper State, excuse me.
It was Canyon State, so that was a good call.
We'll blame it on Freud this time.
They are incredibly centered around the community. They know our members in Payson are all local members for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
They're very community oriented, and they're really wanting to give back. So they just reached out to our branch manager, Heather, and I, and they just said to us, what can we do to give back to the Payson community? We want to give back the way that they've given to us.
Mm-hmm.
And so we thought about it, we tossed some ideas around, Heather and I, and we came up with helping out RVN3, and Dickie was fantastic. He was so on board, and he's been there every step of the way for everything, and so it just all really came together. But it's all about just giving back to the community, and this was the best way we could do it.
Wonderful way to do it, and with a lot of great accountability too. Now, Travis, the event this Saturday, again at 10 o'clock at the Sawmill Theaters, people can get in for $5. It includes popcorn, small drink, and admission to see the movie Space Jam. I think it's kind of cool that all the proceeds, I mean, there's nobody, even the theater, nobody's making a buck off of this except for the RVN3 folks, which are busy handing that back out to the community. I mean, that's got to be kind of a good, warm, fuzzy, feel-good thing for everybody to be involved with.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely a good opportunity to
Right,
raise money for a good cause.
right.
And honestly, we just have a lot of fun doing it.
Ah, it sounds like a good time. Hopefully, we'll get a lot of people out there this Saturday because, Sawmill Theater's got to, give them a little prop as well because, I mean, they seem like they're always getting behind different worthy causes and very much involved in the community. And it has been more than a tad difficult for them over this past year, to say the least, with all the COVID stuff. How about with the credit union? Is that whole thing affected you all as far as traffic in the credit union and everything?
We had a rough couple months there where we had to follow different COVID guidelines and like we had to close our lobby at one point. And there were a rough couple months, but for the most part, we're basically back to normal now. We're
Right.
open, members, we don't require the mask for the members and things like that. We're pretty much back to normal. I don't think it affected us too terribly bad,
Yeah.
fortunately.
Good.
We're very fortunate.
Good. Well, and fortunately, you're also getting really involved in some great causes here in Rim Country. And again, just to repeat, if you just tuned in, this Saturday morning at 10 a.m. at the Sawmill Theaters at the intersection of Main and Beeline, that would be the southwest corner there. You can get in and see Space Jam for just $5. Includes popcorn, small drink, and your admission. And again, all the proceeds go to a really worthy cause, the RBN3, and who are working diligently to try and take care of the expenses involved in kids wanting to get involved in sports. And Dickie, when it comes to local sports, if kids want to play football, now you said, I'm using football as a for instance, they have to pay so much just to sign up for that, right?
Yes, sir.
And how much is that again, roughly?
Your high school's 200, and I want to say middle school's 150.
Okay,
And them numbers I could be off a little bit.
and there's some families with everything else going on right now that would just be out of the question.
For sure.
And so RBN3 stands in that gap, and that's good. But also, when it comes to equipment, these kids have to be buying a lot of their own equipment.
All your cleats, mouthpiece,
Right.
there's a lot of, and just your short, your practice gear
Right.
to go in and do that. And then that don't even count, they travel a lot. All your away games is an hour, couple hours away. So they always stop and eat. Or, and then kids ain't packing lunches to go to that very often.
Yeah, bologna sandwiches just don't go over like they used to.
No.
Matter of fact, they never went over good to begin with, but that's another story.
And we didn't do it this year, but we wanted to do it again because it went over well. We supplied all the varsity coaches with $100 cards, credit cards. So there's always a kid on the bus, I'm not hungry, this or that, and the coaches, they get in their pocket a lot themselves just, supporting these kids.
And it's not like our coaches are paid huge bucks.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, that's
Exactly.
a major understatement. So when it comes to a lot of these kids too, just to hone their skills, and I'm thinking specifically, I know with one of my granddaughters, she's very involved in volleyball at the high school, but during the off season, they're really involved in club volleyball, just keeping their skills honed and stuff like that. So these kids, regardless of the sport, I mean, a lot of these kids are really working to improve their skills year round, not just during that specific season. So I mean, there's a lot of things that are expenses, hard costs for these kids.
Exactly. So the first couple years, we were trying to stay in the middle school and stay into the high school. But the town has been so generous and it's been growing. We've been able to help some club sports. We got a wrestling team all in their uniforms, the club wrestling.
Wow.
We're trying to team up with MHA. They're doing the band uniforms, I believe, this year. MHA is.
Wow.
And
those aren't cheap.
No, none of that's cheap. And so then Pop Warner football, some baseball programs have reached out to us. So we're trying to venture out into there. We're mostly trying to focus on school sports to promote education
Right.
first, and then if we do have extra money here's and there's, and we also give a $1,000 scholarship out to one guy, one girl at the end of each year, and we try to do a 3-sport person and try to give them a scholarship. So the last 2 years we gave out $1,000 scholarships to one guy and one girl.
And each one of those involved in up to 3 sports?
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
Very interesting. And, I think it goes back wonderfully to the point that you made earlier, the impact that even if these kids don't go on to college sports or a career in basketball or football or wrestling or whatever, I mean, this is having a big impact on them during some very formative years and teaching them some of the, I think, just the work ethic that comes along with sports that it's not something that most people are just born with or might not even pick up at home. This is important stuff.
It is too, and also with all that, it takes away idle time. Because if you got a kid that's an athlete all year round, they're not sitting around venturing, looking for something to do and falling through the cracks.
Right.
They're busy, and idle hands usually end up with trouble.
Yeah, devil's workshop.
So it's keeping them busy. And if you've been around and have an athlete in the family that also does schoolwork, after practice is schoolwork. It's from morning till 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night. By the time homework's done, dinner's done, everything's done, get up and do it again every day.
Right.
And so it keeps them busy, keeps them focused, and definitely teaches them a lot of life lessons.
I was always intrigued. I had a son that when he was in high school here wrestled. Excuse me. And just the work ethic that goes into learning how to do that. I mean, there's an awful lot of life lessons just in learning how to wrestle. I personally never got interested in wrestling because I didn't like my head that close to some of the things your head gets close to doing that. Enough said. But I mean, there is a lot to learn, whether it's wrestling, football, baseball, volleyball. I mean, there's just a lot of great discipline that comes out of that can make a big difference later in life.
Yep, for sure. And you look through middle school to high school, you start seeing these kids put in the grind, put in the time,
right,
and get dedicated. And definitely, they put in a lot of work. Their practice, the games are bonuses, but there's a lot of work that goes in before all that.
Yeah.
And that's working with team, even wrestling room, you're in with the whole team. You're working together all the time. You have coaches, you have authority. You have to keep your grades up. It goes through everything. And then also you have to keep your behavior proper,
right,
or you get taken away from it also.
Right.
So to be involved in sports is you're correct. I believe it's a great lesson, and you get to take it through life with you for sure.
I gotta love it. You also mentioned something that I think is a significant point, and that is the amount of credit that needs to be given to the coaches. I mean, here you got people that are really trying to teach those life lessons under the guise of an athletic coach. But like you said, oftentimes, they can tell that, well, this kid, the reason he's not getting something to eat at this particular stop on a road trip, he just says he's not hungry, but he's probably, hungry as all get out. He just doesn't have any money and is too proud to say anything. And oftentimes the coach steps in and does something there. I think the fact that RVN3 gives them a debit card that they can use at times like that, I mean, it seems like everywhere you look on this subject, RVN3 is just shining like a bright beacon of hope. I love it.
There is, and there's dreams of the future too, because you look at travel or ride situations. We're hoping to get involved. We've talked about maybe with Beeline Bus, and there's a bunch of avenues we've looked at, and if it keeps growing and we keep getting money to do it, we'd like to put together an activity bus where after practice, let's say 6 o'clock every day, they'll run athletes home. That's how it used to be back in my hometown in Nebraska.
Right.
We had an activity bus. So there's a lot of parents, a lot of single parents, that they're working. They can't get there and get their kid after a 5:30 practice. And that could be a reason itself why that kid can't play sports.
That's a great point.
I can't get you rides. I can't get you there. Then if you look at Pop Warner Sports, that getting to practice every single night, getting it. So there's a lot more growth that can be done and dreams that might happen. And we just ride it all out and keep beating the path, and hopefully we make this town easy for these kids and easy to play sports, and they can take it to their future and be productive.
Right, and kind of reading between the lines of what you were just saying, I mean, it's kind of cool to think too that a group like Beeline Bus, to being able to work with them, there's bound to be a win-win there for everybody, so everyone walks away with a benefit, including, of course, the kids. And it's not like you're chartering limos or anything for these kids. I mean,
Exactly.
It's just basic transportation, but that basic transportation can make a huge, huge difference. As far as Copper State Credit Union's angle on all this, I mean, are there other things like this that you get involved with in the community?
Yeah, we
That's
actually
a
have
loaded
quite-
question. I mean, I know the answer, but I wanted to hear it anyway.
No, we have a lot going on right now with the community. We just finished a school supply drive for the teachers.
Wow.
We are feeding the homeless at the warming shelter in August.
Wow.
And we've got quite a bit coming up. And we're going to be partnering hopefully soon with Payson Community Kids. That's our next outreach we want to do, is try to reach out to them, see what we can do to help them.
Community Kids, that's a great program. And I was just talking yesterday with Emily Bryce, you know, from the whole, well, with the warming center and everything else that they're doing to help the homeless. They've really got some interesting things going on too. So I mean, it's obviously you got your finger on the pulse of what's going on in RIM country. That's got to be a good thing. And I would think, Travis, that it's got to, you know, you got to feel pretty good about, you know, where you go into work every day to know that the company that you work for is really trying to make a positive difference. I mean, that's the kind of thing you want to feel about the company that you spend all your time at.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I love about working for a credit union, is that you can really show the community that you care, because to them you're not just a customer, you're actually a member. You are a part of the credit union family when you come in there, and it feels really good to be able to show them that.
Gotta love it. Gotta love it. And you know, credit unions get pretty darn good interest rates and stuff too, if you're looking for loans and stuff like that. So, and I'm assuming that you have plenty of those to give out to people.
Yep.
We do.
And now, again, to reiterate, Copper State Credit Union over in the what is the Bashas Shopping Center called?
Bashas Shopping Center.
The Bashas Plaza.
There you go. I think there used to be a name for that, but I've been around so long I can't remember. It's just where Bashas is. But right over the area in that shopping center, so stop in and you know, consider maybe getting a membership there with Copper State Credit Union, because obviously they're putting their money where our community's heart is and helping out a lot of different things here in RIM country. And hats off to Elizabeth, Travis, and everybody over there at Copper State Credit Union for getting behind this RVN3 event. Again, this particular one is coming up this Saturday at 10 o'clock at the Sawmill Theaters over on the southwest corner of Main and Beeline there. And 10 o'clock, $5 gets you in, popcorn, small drink, and admission, and you get to watch Space Jam. Every penny raised goes to help the RVN3 cause. And again, this is just one of, how many different fundraisers you do every year?
I try to just do the golf tournament, but we've been doing a lot more than that.
I was just saying, I mean, to be raising the money that you've been raising, I mean, it's you're getting into some. I mean, you talked about 40 grand last year, just, you know, to do everything with the athletes, as well as putting a new floor in at the high school. I mean, that's that ain't cheap, and so I mean, you're really making a big difference.
The credibility that's came this year working with Key Family Flooring, Access, Joe over there at Access Culture Group,
Right.
and the community starting to know about the RVN3. So a lot of people have been reaching out and involved in being able to get involved with these people have been a great honor, and it's growing tremendously, especially in this last year or so. MHA, MSA, these guys, they're involved, and we're all grouping up as teams, as foundations, and together we're making big things happen instead of just staying single and making littler things happen, like that floor and like the band uniforms MHA is doing, and a lot of things like that. So as foundations are learning each other, it's been a great honor to be involved with all these people.
Takes a village, right?
Yes, it does.
Outstanding. Well, keep up the great work, and an amazing tribute to your late son. You know, certainly sorry for your loss there, but absolutely wonderful how you've chosen to keep his memory alive in a real tangible way for the entire community. Keep up the great work.
Thank you. All the glory to God.
Yeah, amen on that. And thanks again to Copper State Credit Union and everything you're doing. Outstanding work, and keep it up.
Thank you.
All right. And we got to thank you for tuning in and listening this morning to Community Spotlight on KRIM. Going to get you back to more of your favorite music. Have some tunes coming up from Kool and the Gang, Dave Matthews Band, The Who, Johnny Lang, and a whole bunch more. But first, a quick look at RIM Country weather.
This morning's KRIM weather forecast.
Just like that.
Awesome.
But I'm bunch. Thanks for listening.